Welcome, guys, back to the Watchlist podcast. It's episode 25, quarter of a century of podcasts
Yeah.
already, which is crazy to think about. And this week we're talking about Spider-Man Brand New Day. Um, it's doing super well on the box office. It almost hit a billion first
Yep.
weekend, which is insane.
It's crazy.
Absolutely insane. I know a lot of people that aren't into film that are just rushing to see this film, and all my coworkers are going
Yeah.
up to me. It's like, "What'd you think about this film? What'd you
hmm
think about it?" Way more than the Odyssey, which is crazy because
Sure.
to me, I felt like the Odyssey was bigger, but I guess like Spider-Man's just that guy, you know?
Yeah.
Um,
It's a lot more accessible, just kind of like the kind of movie it is. It's so long
yeah,
though, but like no one talks about the runtime with this. But everyone's complaining the Odyssey's 3 hours long, but they're like, oh, with Spider-Man, that can be 2 hours and 40 minutes or something. But the
yeah,
Odyssey, oh, 3 hours. Jeez. Yeah. That's where
yeah,
it gets bad. I don't know.
yeah. We did a Spider-Man ranking on our Instagram, so go check out the Spider-Man rankings there.
Yeah.
Um, that was fun, and it is my favorite Tom Holland Spider-Man. I don't know about you, Luke.
I definitely agree. Very
Yeah,
low
I think
bar
it's
for me, but
yeah,
yeah, it's like and I was optimistic going into it because it is kind of nice to have the fresh start that was offered from the last movie where like they all for everyone forgets Peter Parker, and that kind of sets up this movie, and he's kind of on his own more, and he's just in Queens, and that's where we're kind of dropped in. I think it did kind of hurt this movie though, because they had to face the Zendaya and Ned issue, where they don't remember and they have to like obviously get them to get like back together kind of thing. It's a weird like corner they put themselves in, or like they have to do this like narrative arc,
yeah,
where because they're not going to throw away Zendaya. If she's in the
no,
MCU, you're not just like, "Oh, she forgets and now he's on his own," or something
yeah.
like that. So, I mean, how do you think that was kinda like that aspect of this movie was?
I think it's one of the worst parts. Um, I mean, it does feel forced, but it also doesn't feel like there's no relief there, you know? Like
Yeah,
there's no like, okay, they did it in a satisfying way.
people would
Um,
disagree, like, with
yeah,
the
for sure.
like, the Ned thing. People like, my whole theater was gasping and, like, really into it, and I can get that. I think that at I think, honestly, because they're in that corner and they have to do it, right? They have to get the do the they're together and they don't know what's going on and he does. And it's weird, but it's kind of interesting. And I think it works when like Tom Holland and Zendaya are like in, like when they're at the Punisher's crib and they're just like together and like doing stuff and kind of just talking and kind of like forming a relationship again. It works because it's like Tom Holland and you have Zendaya, like incredible actor Zendaya, you know, doing it. And I actually think the movie should have just stuck between like focused on that a lot more. Like get a lot more
Yeah,
out of like having Zend because you have to do that kind of that plot line, and I think just make that like a more integral part of the story, and don't kind of save it for like kind of more like the second half, or just kind of like using Zendaya as like the plot device thing. And I don't know, like just because there's so much kind of bullshit in this movie. That's my kind of feelings about
yeah.
why I'm so mixed on it. I think we're both pretty mixed on it. Um, I think we both have good things to say about it, but I think there's a lot of bullshit.
I mean, speaking of MJ, my biggest gripe, like with this entire series, is I think MJ is like the worst character ever in these Spider-Man movies. And when you compare MJ to even the Amazing Spider-Man, not even just like the Sam Raimi ones, right? the relationship to me doesn't feel
No.
like it
No,
doesn't
but
feel romantic at all, and it's really weird to me because I know they're married in real life,
yeah,
especially in this film. They're literally married,
yeah,
and it's just like, why am I not feeling it between these 2 characters? Whereas, like, Emma Stone and Andrew Garfield, there's moments where I'm, like, struggling to breathe, like, the way that
sure,
they're looking at each other,
sure.
or, like, even Kirsten Dunst and Tobey Maguire, there's, like, amazing romance moments in there, and it
Yeah,
almost feels, like, based in that romance, a lot of the
yeah,
times. Right? Like, that's what you're saying about this film, it doesn't focus too much on the romance, but MJ as a character, I mean, you look back at Homecoming, she's not even, like, a main romance thing in the first one, right? She's, like, the nerdy, quirky girl that's kinda weird, that's
she's
always
like the
there.
depressed girl at school, you know,
Yeah,
the
she's like
quiet depressed
an
girl.
emo girl, she has,
Yeah,
like, frizzled up hair that's not
yeah. She doesn't
all
care about
together.
how everyone, what people think of her, and she's like that kind
She's
of
she's even like that in
caricature.
the second film. She's even like
I
that in the
don't
second film a
remember
little
her
bit.
at all in the second movie. So,
And the
what
3rd
about
and
the
4th
third?
films, they're just like
I don't even remember. I think so. This is the issue with, I think, like, because I think you're like right here where it's like you don't feel it's like you should be feeling this a lot more and you don't. And I think it's a MCU problem and a just kind of modern superhero movie problem where there has to be a million things going on at one time, like all the time. And so you never kind of get a chance to really like sink in with with and because it's the 4th movie and they never really cared about it in the past, right? Like, I think, the
yeah,
homecoming stuff is it's pretty tough. I mean, that movie's about him wanting another girl, right?
yeah,
It's like
yeah,
the Michael Keaton's daughter. But,
yeah,
yeah, so I think, like, I think Zendaya in this movie though, I don't really think you saw these movies a lot closer together, but I don't think of her as like that MJ in Homecoming. I kind of am just like, oh, this is like Zendaya, and she's more of like a normal person, I guess, in like this movie, just from what we see. Um, she kind of
yeah,
just feels
it's
like
definitely a
Zendaya.
little definitely a little different when you see her from an outside perspective, especially, like, her grown up a lot more,
Yeah,
and she's, like, more in her skin, especially, like, she used to be a lot more shy, and now she's, like, I mean, she's still shy, but there's moments where she's, like, really excited
yeah.
for school and all this stuff. I'm gonna have a hot take here. I love Ned in this film. I think Ned is, like, the biggest jump from especially, like, the first 3 because I did watch these, like, all within a week,
Hmm.
right? From the first 3, right, to this one, he's way less stereotypical, whereas, like, of the first 3, he's like "I'm the guy in the chair. I'm your best
Mm,
friend," type of thing, and he's always jealous if someone else likes Spider-Man more than him, whereas this one, with him being kind of away from Spider-Man and he feels more grounded, there's like a reality of like this guy, he's a college student, he's like making new friends in college, even though you see it in like kind of blurs. He just kind of feels more mature, and I think
yeah,
that works for Ned.
yeah,
And I think I was like, oh, and his comedic timing is a little better in this film because of that. Because you can kind of take him seriously as a person first, and then when he has those like outbreaks of comedy or reaction wise, it makes a lot more sense, especially when he finds out when he's sitting with Spider-Man when they're building Legos,
yeah.
right?
Right.
Like that kind of
They do like the
thing
accents.
is so different, So
Yeah.
I like it in this film.
Yeah, I think it's tough for me to like love Ned. Even though I agree with everything you said. I think it's just the fact because like yeah, he's more of a real person, and I think just the actor who I don't remember his name, but he has some natural like charisma. He's like a very charismatic person, and like he's very
Yeah,
like kind of like I think you feel that through the screen. I just unfortunately he's largely a comic relief, like a comic relief
yeah,
character, and I think that in a Marvel movie where he's unfortunately has to do all these Marvel jokes, it's tough for like because they're not great, and that's a lot of his
mm,
stuff. So it's like I'm always like a little mixed, but I like like I can see he's in a better place now, right? Where like
Yeah.
he is more of a real person and kind of like I think actually forgetting who Spider-Man is, we kind of his world doesn't revolve around, Tom Holland
Yeah,
and
it's
everything.
it's centered around himself,
Yeah, I
you
guess
know,
he is
and
obsessed with
friendship.
Spider-Man, but like
Yeah.
he has his own like college life and friends and things like
Yeah.
that, which was cool. I think that was a cool thing to see their kind of apartment and they have a party, right? Halfway through.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, and see, it's like moments like that where it's like the naturalistic part, or even
yeah,
like when he's in the corner store and he sees him buying booze, right? It's like I love those
yeah,
shots because even though the first three movies suck, there it does add to what this movie is, where you do like the relationship that they have, and now that it's gone, it's harder for Spider-Man than it is for Ned or MJ. And so when he sees him walking through the store, right? In any other Spider-Man movie that he would be entering the thing, he's like, "Hey," like
yeah, yeah.
Peter, like all that
Right,
stuff. And then seeing him just walk past with a regular face and buying alcohol and he falls into the party, all that stuff, or even like when he's in the room of the party, and he's just kind of like, "Oh, hey,"
right.
like
Yeah,
there's like that's like really cool. That's
yeah,
like, "Oh, this is like so strange and you're not used to this, especially watching all the first three this last week. It's like it's weird seeing Ned act like that. It's weird seeing Zendaya kiss another guy.
yeah,
It's you know what I mean?
yeah.
On front of her husband in real life, which is funny.
I didn't even
There,
think about
there's
that.
this
Yeah,
there's this cool moments like that I think them forgetting Spider-Man is a great setup from No Way Home, but it's much better used here, obviously, because it's focused on that. But yeah.
yeah. I guess we can talk about some positives that we have. We haven't talked about this at all, like off podcast. But I think
Mhm.
like I kind of assume like we would agree. Um, but I think kind of bringing things back to the New York Spider-Man, you see him just walking around New York. He's talking to the police chief, and he gets n- he it's very much. And did you ever play the video games, the Spider-Man?
No.
I did. Um, the big one everyone talks about, I played that one, and it's kinda like, yeah, you see, like, "Oh, there's crime over here," and then Spider-Man, goes and, and that's kind of in the movie, right, where he gets the notification on his phone, and then he has to go, you know get, like, a robber, or, like, or, like, anything, right? That's the stuff in the movie, like, kind of the first half I was really gravitating towards, where I was like, "This is kind of, like, fun," and we're getting to see him kind of swing around, and we're focused on kinda living in Spider-Man's experience, with him as he's, like, swinging through New York, and you get a lot of New York skyline and, that kind of vibe. But mainly kind of I like that video game feeling of there's like kind of a wave of criminals and like we gotta go swing and like get there, kind of thing. Kind of bring it back to basics from whatever the hell the last movie was.
Yeah, he's not fighting some crazy villain right off the bat, right? He's
Yeah,
not he's not in space, right?
yeah, yeah.
He's
Or
focusing
like
on
he's
them.
not
He's like
with
a friendly
Doctor
neighborhood Spider-Man.
Strange and then two Spider-Men come in and then every
Yeah,
villain of all the movies come in. It's like what the fuck are we? Let's have like a Spider-Man movie first before we do this.
yeah, yeah. I agree. I like that stuff. I do. I mean, I think the movie looks considerably better than the first three.
Yeah,
And I mean, you have a capable director directing this compared to John
sure,
Watts.
sure.
Um, I mean, he's done what Short Term 12, which everyone likes. Like that's a
Yes,
fine film and all that
he
stuff.
did
Uh,
Shang-Chi,
he did
the
Shang-Chi.
Marvel movie.
But I mean, yeah, I agree. Like I like how at base it feels. It looks better. I like the POV shots. Those always feel like very surreal to me. It's like putting yourself in the shoes of a superhero is really cool, and I think Spider-Man's the best version to do that with because it's not like Thor or Captain America. Like you got Spider-Man swinging, and it's kind of based in reality, but also kind of just foreign enough for you to kind of attach yourself to like, oh, this is kind of crazy.
Mhm.
So yeah, those shots are really cool. Um,
Especially in a movie theater, just, like, that is
oh
kind of it's immersive being like, this Spider-Man swinging, like, I have such nostalgic memories of watching the Tobey movies, and he's swinging, and you're just like, that's kind of what everything should be about in a Spider-Man movie, is, like, living in
yeah,
those, moments, those bizarre moments of, like, climbing the wall and, all the, like, weird things, that he gets to do. But, yeah, so how the movie looks, okay? Here's my kinda thing about it. Um, it is I think it's completely serviceable, is how I would describe it. Like, it's like
that's a 5 star for Luke with an MCU film.
no, seriously. Like, it's 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 obviously I'm saying that within the context of it being an MCU movie, For it to have lighting and for it to, like, not be flat all the time, and for it to, um, have, like, handheld camera and kind of, like, kind of like him walking through the party kinda thing, and like, "Oh, they're shooting this kind of like an independent film in a way."
Yeah,
Like, and it's not necessarily, like, formally, stylistically, aesthetically, however you wanna say it, my favorite. Like, I'm not like, "Oh, wow, that is, like, really great," but within the context of the MCU, it, like, being something is totally serviceable, where I'm not gonna critique pretty much how the movie looks at all, because it's like that's like fine. Like, especially for a superhero movie that doesn't, you know, need to be like the best looking movie ever. If it's just trying to have fun. Um I mean, it should try to look good. Obviously, we want it to look good, but I'm just like, as long as they're like lighting a little bit and like doing this stuff, I'm like, I don't care. I'll let it slide. I'll let like these flaws slide, or like, it doesn't matter to me as much if I don't like love how it looks, because all the fucking slop, like the gray sludge, green screen slop beforehand, um just in comparison, this is we're going in such a great direction. It's like, it's just like finally, they're doing something a little bit. And there's like obvious like big camera techniques he's doing, and stuff that's cool. And I'm happy that it's happening, I guess. Something's happening.
it makes it easier as a moviegoer to kind of forget like when it's a bad looking film. Like the most recent experience I had is like Moana and Supergirl. Right, the movie
Yeah.
just looks so bad where like almost the whole time all you're thinking about is, man, this movie just looks horrible,
Right.
right? And then
Exactly.
when it's a movie like this compared to like the John Watts ones, you're not thinking about that constantly, and it kind of makes it easier to kind of go forward
Yeah.
from there. Like that's
Yes.
the first step. It's
Yeah.
like, okay,
Yeah.
I can go further. I don't have to worry about this. Now let's worry about the other things. Let's worry
Yeah.
about plot and writing
Right.
and acting wise, like
Yeah.
stuff like that,
Yeah.
And so that is a great like if every MCU film looked a little bit better, right? People like us probably wouldn't be giving it 1 stars every single time,
Yeah.
right? Because I mean it's just a very difficult thing, right? People
Yeah.
love these movies. Um and you always say like people just take what they're given, right? And now I kind of feel like I'm that, right? I'm taking what I'm what I'm given here
Sure.
with this Spider-Man film,
Sure.
because it doesn't look horrible. Because I mean, that's something that we look at very specifically, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I had a moment. It was like an endgame moment where the whole theater just started standing up. Like
That's so
I was
crazy.
like the whole theater was like standing up, they're cheering, they're clapping,
What the
and
fuck?
I have never seen spoilers here. Big spoilers if you haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Um, I have never seen X-Men, so I had no clue what the fuck was going on. So I was just kind
Right.
of sitting there like a deer in headlights, like what is everyone like
Right.
is who is this person? Right.
Yeah.
And then I find out later that's an X-Men, and I guess that's a big deal of introducing X-Men into
Yeah.
Marvel.
Well,
So that was kind of funny,
That
like
is really funny
having
that
that
you
scene.
had a theater do a whole
Oh, they
ovation for
were
that.
they were hooping and hollering, dude. They were hooting and hollering. They're loving that shit. And I was just like,
Yeah.
okay.
It's that this whole Jean Grey thing is so ridiculous, like, so insanely ridiculous. Like, what are we doing? What are people doing? Like, it's it's a it's not a character that's been introduced at all before. Like, it's not like a cameo thing. They're just, like, introducing, like, a new character. I don't really get the okay, here's the thing. I read X-Men comics when I was a kid. Like, I like the X-Men a lot, and I know who Jean Grey is, and I, like Jean Grey, and like, I'm not an expert on anything. I don't I was a kid, but, like, it's so crazy to me that people I don't wanna, like, yuck anyone's yum or whatever, but it's just really hard for me to understand how you could get any amount of hype from like we know the X-Men are coming out. Like that movie's confirmed. Like this is known. And then it's
Yeah.
just like one character who's like important, but um I don't I don't get there's no build. It's just like, oh, we're revealing a character. They're introducing a character too. Like it's like they're introducing a new character in their mega franchise of 300,000 characters and then now we have to just like learn about him cuz it's not the character technically that's in the comic books. It is, but like they're writing a new character and they have to introduce you know what I mean? We're like it's
Okay,
not
I have a question about that.
yeah.
So as someone who's never read the comics or watched any of the X-Men movies, I mean, she's kind of displayed as an anti-hero here. Is that kind of how she is in
She
the
goes
past movies and comics?
so I'm not an expert. I know she goes through different phases where kind of I think she becomes a villain and at certain times, is part of like the X-Men and then is she's like kind of all over the place, I think, and like
Okay, so she's
changes.
not like a main X-Men
I think she is at but it's like how it's kind of like how Spider-Man is like an Avenger, but he's not like, there's
or
like
like Black Panther, like how
sure.
Black Panther
They're a
introduced.
vet. They're like I don't know if that's a good analogy. There's probably like people who know so much about this shit that are like
Oh,
so pissed right now. But like
yeah.
I think like was she's at some point in X-Men. I right.
Yeah.
Like yeah.
So it's interesting because I mean, we got Doomsday coming up at the end of the year. And so like
Sure.
people after this movie are like, "Oh, Marvel's so back.
Really. Hmm.
Doomsday is
Yeah.
going to be
Right.
Doomsday is going to be like the greatest thing ever."
Yeah.
And I'm not someone who's like super into like this phase 5 thing or whatever that we're going on. I guess it's like the multiverse arc
Okay.
or whatever. And that's I mean, this is kind of a departure from that.
Okay.
Um, so it's kind of funny to think about. Sadie Sink is going to be probably in Avengers Doomsday,
Right.
right? I think it's and Sadie Sink. What do you think of Sadie Sink in this film? Because like she's a Stranger Thing, bro.
She's a Stranger Thing. I thought it was interesting. She worked with uh Destin Daniel Cretton before, like in his early work, and like this one of his. Yeah, I haven't seen the movie. It's like one of
Oh, okay.
his other ones. So that was interesting as like him kind of getting her aboard, um, versus it just being like a she's in Stranger Things kind of move.
Hmm.
Um, she's a redhead, which probably helps for the character. She's fine, I think. She's given really shit material to work with, like, as a character. Like, that's probably, like, the my least favorite part of the movie is just her character. Just, like, the little backstory they tried to do with her sister, I just
Yeah.
thought, like, didn't work at all, like, on any level, and they just kinda had a like, one quick flashback to them sitting in a park and just exposition dump, her whole, like, parent thing, I'm just like, "Jesus Chr are they like, this is what they're doing?" And that's, like, her backstory, and then, I mean, what's good about it is she has really cool powers, right? Like, telepathy is fun, and so but then it's like, at the end of the movie, it becomes, like, you know, what it is, and it's a little, uh, I really hated it. Like, I really hated kind of her as a villain. I thought was just horribly structured in a way
Yeah.
that, like, didn't work at all, where it's not about her at all. It's just kind of like she's basically used as a way for Tom Holland's character to kind of change and kind of go through this process, which is a good part of the movie, but that, two things can exist, I think, in
Yeah.
a 2.5 hour movie.
I find I do find it a bit slow. I think especially towards
Once
the
they
end of the
capture
second
her,
act. Yes.
it's like,
It,
geez, like, let's wrap this up.
yeah, I know. It's like this movie is really way too long.
Yeah.
And then I mean, even then, like after that happens, it's the movie is so predictable in my opinion, where I'm just like at that point, I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I know how this is gonna end, and they're dragging it, right? Let's focus more on the MJ thing, like you were saying,
Right.
right? Like
Or like,
use your time wisely. If you're gonna make a 2.5 hour long film, like you have time to do this big
yeah,
action film and have a down to earth romance.
I
You know,
I
and
agree.
I think with with the context of MJ not knowing who he is, it kind of has a rebuild of like how Tom Holland's character can like how Peter Parker can approach her, right? And kind of make her not make her, obviously, but like make it natural again to
Yeah.
where they can fall in love,
Yeah.
right? And it doesn't feel natural at all. Like how like she finds out knowing and like she even like correct me if I'm wrong, but if I remember, I think she turns around at him and says like, "I knew you, didn't I?" And then he's just kind of just like sitting there and he doesn't
Well,
know how to answer. And then she's like, "Were we friends? Were we schoolmates?"
I think that
Uh,
was when Jean wasn't that when
something.
Jean was controlling her and did the little prank?
Oh, you're right. You're
Yeah.
right. But I mean, even afterwards, the whole setup is
She finds the note.
yeah. But I'm saying even in that moment when she's confessing all that stuff, I know Jean's controlling her.
Right.
Like I,
It's like a
like
very, like, sadly predictable thing, but then when it happened, my whole theater was like, I was
yeah,
like,
yeah,
"No
that's
way."
exactly what I'm saying. My whole theater's like, "No way," and all this stuff. I'm like, "How? You
Yeah.
really think she's figuring this out and kissing him right off the bat?
Yeah.
Like, come on, she has more respect for herself."
Yeah.
Um, so I mean, there's just so many things like that throughout the film where it's just like I'm just kind of rolling my eyes, you know.
Yeah.
And also the other thing is like we're talking about how it does feel down to earth in those first few moments,
Mhm.
but there's no sense of warmth there, and then when it gets big, there's no sense of epicness. Like it hits this like weird middle road where it's not doing anything for me at all emotionally.
Yeah, I think, um, even when we talk about the first half being, more, like, down to earth, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, whatever, like, the stuff that I think is really good about Spider-Man and stuff that would be great to focus on, and I think every Spider-Man fan enjoys, right? But I think, because and this kind of is a broad criticism for this movie and why I think just there's no hope, is because this movie exists in the MCU and everything, there has to be so much going on, and these moments, like they're definitely, Tom Holland's definitely talking, whoever's definitely talking and being like, "We gotta use the stuff from, like, the video game and, like, Spider-Man stuff, 'cause this is what people want, and, like, this is, like, what we want." But then there's like, "Okay, but and then Kevin Feige's like, "Oh, but we also have to have the Hulk, and then we have to have,
Yeah,
um,
I was just gonna say about that.
Florence Pugh in it," and it's like all this, like, we stuff overstuff it with bullshit the whole time, where it's like, take that out, put more Spider-Man just, like, fighting crime and being confused about people mind controlled. Play that longer, right? Don't rush that stuff, because I think the withholding of that, um, like when he's chasing the tank and then people, like, that's kinda cool. Like, that's, like, fun, kinda it feels like a video game where, like, it's like your mission to chase down this tank, you get the tank, and then it's like, "Oh, you didn't actually win, there's more to do." You know what I mean? Where,
Yeah.
like, that stuff's, like, really fun, I think, um, and because the movie has to be so many things, it has to have so many characters. Fucking Frank, take Frank out of the movie, bro. I hate Frank.
Yeah.
I don't know how you think about Frank, but I was like, he doesn't work in the movie at all, I think.
Mm. Also, like what you're saying about like Florence Pugh in particular, when he can't figure his shit out, he always has someone to go to,
Yeah,
right? And in the older movies, it's kind of the people he ends up going to are the people that end up wanting to kill him, which is really funny. You know, like the professor or
yeah,
your friend's dad, stuff like that.
yeah.
And so like in this one, it's like, okay, how do I solve this? I solve it by going to someone and they help me, right?
Mhm.
Rather than if we like you said, take those characters out, like take Bruce Banner out, who I think is horrible in this film, and then like take Florence Pugh out, right? Take her out of the film and have Spider-Man's existential crisis that he's having throughout this film, like have him figure this shit out.
Yeah,
Like make him the detective, make him go through trials and tribulations to get to where he can find resolution within his own heart and like he learns something from this rather than being like guided all the way through. That all these Spider-Man movies, he's always like he has a mentor constantly. Like Iron Man constantly helping him,
right.
right? You have Happy constantly helping him. And then like in the older ones, he has Aunt May, but she doesn't know he's Spider-Man. It's just she can't really help him with
And also way cooler.
yeah, way
Like
cooler.
like, that's a way better idea of who should help
Yeah.
him out is, his aunt who took him in and, like, that whole thing. Like, it's so much sweeter than, like, Jon Favreau or whatever the fuck, you know?
It's like inspirational, like Aunt May being an inspiration to him emotionally, which helps him get to that place he needs to go, where he can be the superhero and he can figure this shit out and he
Yeah,
can save the day
yeah,
rather than like he's has Bruce help him and then all of a sudden Bruce turns bad and now he has Bruce to deal with. And then,
right.
it's
It's
like
like,
there's
why are we
like
fighting Hulk right now? Yeah, like, I get it, like, Hulk is maybe people are just like, "Oh, Hulk is cool, so, like, it's good," or, it's fun. But I think it's at the end of the day, it's like, why are we doing this? Like, why is like, what is John Bernthal's character? What does he add? Like, let's be real. Like, what is he doing?
yeah,
Right? Like,
yeah,
why is he here? Why does it have to be Florence Pugh helping him out in this shit? Like,
yeah.
can't we just have a movie? Why have a movie?
Also, I think that the biggest example of where I started feeling that is when, like Bruce Banner is introduced into the film and he's a professor and someone raises their hand in the
Oh
class and
my
he's like, "Is
god.
this a question? Is this a
Yeah.
question about the thing or is this a question about the Avengers?" And then he eventually like, lets her ask the question, and I'm like, "We're really still talking about Endgame?"
I know.
Like, why
It's
can't
so
Bruce Banner
stupid.
just be a professor and why can't or like not even that, like why can't you just like have just a professor that's not Bruce Banner,
Right.
you know? And then you go to him. Like why does it have to be the
It
Hulk?
kind of feels like they can't have a side character that's not important to something else in this, like, big franchise, right?
Yeah,
Or,
yeah.
that which I
Everyone
think is
has to be a
good.
superhero.
I mean, not that they don't, like, they have the police chief, as just kind of the
Yeah,
side character, but I think that's actually better than
yeah,
having Mark Ruffalo as, who is, like, he's, like, it's like a good performance because it's Mark Ruffalo, I think, and whatever, but, um, it doesn't it's strange. It's very strange to have these big characters take away a lot, like, of the attention and presence, versus Spider-Man, who like, is it crazy to just want a Spider-Man movie? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's where it just it's in the MCU,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like,
It's
it's
really
not its
sad.
own story.
Or it's
It's
like,
not
can we
part of
even
its
get
own
a good
trilogy.
MCU movie? Like, it's not possible. Like, it's just
I
not.
mean, the closest in my opinion always has been not Civil War, sorry. Winter Soldier,
Okay.
right? That's been the closest to being a good MCU film, right? And that's still my favorite MCU film to this day.
Have you seen it
But,
recently?
like, I haven't. See, that's the
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
I unrated all of my Marvel. I need to just, like, do a Marvel thing when I
Mhm.
care to.
Yeah,
I just
right.
go through Marvel again and see where my opinions lie, but from what I remember, I just loved, like, Winter Soldier's, like, action.
Okay.
But anyways, like, Spider-Man, yeah, it just has those flaws and, like, the reviews that it's getting, it's like, "This is the best Spider-Man." People are putting this above the OG Spider-Man. It's like the only Spider-Man better than this is Spider-Man 2,
Yeah.
right? This is better than
Crazy.
3 and 1. I'm like, "What are you guys?" I just don't see it, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of movies where people will have these opinions, and I can see where they're coming from. But when I watch this film, you know, like, I watched this Thursday, so I guess opening day, right?
Mhm.
And so I didn't know it was gonna be, like, this well regarded. I was kind of excited to be in the theater to watch a Spider-Man film, right?
Yeah.
And then to kind of leave and just, like, all these people, I'm hearing them talk about it very philosophically, all this stuff. I'm like, "It's not that deep, bro.
It's really not.
Not
It's, like,
it's not that
extremely
deep."
shallow, sadly
Yeah.
shallow.
I mean,
Yeah.
even, like, Peter Parker is the best version of Peter Parker in this film for the Tom Holland ones,
Mhm.
um, where he's going through a lot, right?
Yes.
Like, he's going through changes.
Yeah.
I heard some people talking about, like, this is a metaphor for puberty,
Yeah.
and I'm like, "Bro."
Technically, no, not puberty because he's older, but it is like a maturing in life kind of thing. It's weird to
Yeah.
say puberty about a 30-year-old man.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
yeah, I mean, it is technically like a metaphor, but it's like that's a very obvious metaphor, and it's also done with Spider-Man 3. It's a very similar like metaphor of kind of
Yeah.
just like the symbiote suit being a replacement for that. This movie has a lot of nostalgia slop in it.
Mm.
Um, for example, like the inhibitor chip thing, very like that's from
Oh,
Spider-Man 2, right? That's like the
yeah.
Doc Ock thing. There's a ton. Like when he's starting to learn how to use the the natural, what do
Yeah,
you
the
call it?
natural
The
webs.
natural webs that come out of his wrist naturally, and he's kind of like doing the web go thing, or like that thing. Very much, obviously, Toby Spider-Man.
Oh, there's something about that where he's doing that, right? And he has that Stark technology to help him figure this shit out. Right? We're going back to, like, the Stark technology is there, and he's always like, he's there in his room, and he's like, asking, "Okay, can we try this?" Right? Rather than, like, the Toby one, right? He has to figure that out alone without technology.
Yeah.
There's something more rewarding there rather than having a computer that's basically ChatGPT helping him figure out what's going on in his body.
Sure, sure.
It's like over.
Also, the one thing that always bothered me with Tom Holland Spider-Man is that it's really hard for me to believe that he's smart, and I I don't wanna
Yeah,
be
I
rude to
agree.
Tom Holland, but he even plays as, like, "I'm not a smart guy," like, he always says that about himself, and maybe that's influenced me or something, but when I watch these movies and he's like, "Oh, I gotta change the diagonal to the configurator," and, like, he's using, like, the funny tech lingo, it's just so it takes me out of it so quickly because 'cause I'm like, "This like, it's like Tom Holland," Where, like,
Yeah.
with Tobey Maguire, I really believe it because 'cause I'm like, he's kind of nerdier, He's like,
Yeah, and he's top
I
of his
mean,
class,
he's
and
perfect. I shouldn't can't compare to Toby, but
yeah,
um,
Toby's the best.
maybe even Andrew, right? Or Andrew's like a pretty boy, but I don't know. I don't know if it even totally works with Andrew, but I just definitely don't believe it with Tom Holland. That was just
Yeah.
something that kept happening. It's just funny, kind of funny.
What did you think about, I mean, a lot of the first half of the film is dealing with, like, Tom Holland's or just Peter Parker just being alone, right? Like, he's in his
Yeah,
room, dark room, and people are telling him to settle down, like, the detective is like, "You just need to, like, take a break, bro," right? Like,
yeah,
you don't have like, he doesn't have a life. And I think that's probably one of my favorite parts of the film of, like, him being consumed by his work.
yeah,
Right? He's
yeah,
like he thinks that's a way to solve it, right? And I like the way that the way his body is changing because he doesn't have personal connections. And I think that's very smart. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Like he needs to like get out there. Like it doesn't even have to be MJ. Just like you need to make friends, bro. You need to have a life outside of the suit, right? I think they even ask him like, how long have you? When's the last time you took off the suit?
hmm
Right. Um, just another example of exposition there. This is
yeah.
really annoying.
Um, yeah, I think that's good. Like like I even like him going through the changes is really good. Like I said, it happened in Spider-Man 3. That's not a total dig on it. My dig on it is that there's kind of a lot of that stuff to where it's a
Yeah.
little bit like I think they're just nostalgia baiting here. Even his apartment is similar to the one in Spider-Man 3 where like the landlord was like ball I don't know, there's something about that that remind me. A lot of things just remind me of it. And then there's the obvious, which I really don't like in the movie, which was kind of like emotional bait with cutting back to Spider-Man No Way Home or cutting back to the older movies. Um which felt like a TV show finale or something that was, like, really trying to get your, like, tug on your heartstrings, and
Yeah.
it really didn't work for me, and it's just kind of annoying in the MCU, like, we don't need to be doing that. Um,
There's also some jokes here that are like really silly, like not in a good way. I mean it. I think of um I think of Captain America. Wait, am I thinking of No Way Home? I might be thinking of No Way
yeah,
Home.
I don't
With
I don't remember Captain America.
okay, yeah, it definitely was not. I'm so integrated in No Way Home at this point. It's not leaving my mind.
Yeah.
Um, but
No, but
yeah, I mean, yeah. What else is there to talk about this film?
I mean,
Like,
eh okay, well, we can talk about the ending. The ending's a big thing I wanna talk about because, basically, when Jean gets kind of captured, um, is Peter Parker or Spider-Man tries to go break her out and like save her once he realizes that, whatever, um, that they're,
she's
I
only
don't
looking for her sister,
right,
right? I think
yeah.
that's what it was.
Um, so he's going to rescue her. It's kind of it's so anticlimactic for me where they go into they're foreshadowing the Aunt May thing, and the end of the movie kind of just becomes about it becomes about like let's just sit and talk about our feelings and that'll get us through it. Um which like maybe it could work in some movie. I really think it doesn't fucking work in this movie because for one you barely had a villain with kinda I don't care about their backstory because you brushed over it super quickly, and now you're doing trying to, like, really do this really emotional thing with her talking to Aunt May, and Spider-Man was like, "You don't have to be alone, you can, like, do this." Or, like, you don't have to do this alone, like, there's people for you, like, I'm here for you kinda thing, and, like, that as the finale is so fucking stupid because it's a if at least from my perspective, because if you're a really big fan of Marvel movies, I think you'll love it because I think like I don't know. I just feel like you could just like eat that up and like get emotional and it's fine. I think it's I don't know how to say this. I don't want to be rude here. 'Cause I'm trying not to be rude, but it's not what the what they're saying is it's just not deep or like interesting or
Yeah,
really anything smart where it's like that's going to change someone older than 12, I think. Like it's hard for me to believe that someone an adult is really being like you could be like affected on like some level, but it's not this grandiose piece of writing that makes up
yeah,
for lacking kind of a third act sequence, right? With this villain that you built up or whatever. Um, and I hate to be that guy that's like, oh, I just want a big battle at the end, but I kind of do. Like in a superhero movie, I'm not there to get my life changed. I'll go watch Ozu. No, I'm just kidding. Like but like there's the MCU is not well equipped to like talk about these topics and like be successful in any way. It's just not going to work ever, at least for me. And it's fine if it works for other people. I'm just speaking for myself here, but
yeah,
it's so lame where I'm like, I want Spider-Man to fight someone with telepathy powers and use like his brain and find like a cool way to like beat them. That
yeah,
even if it was simple, it would probably be a better movie. Because
yeah,
whatever the fuck that conversation was is lame as hell. And then Spider-Man gets shot by fucking Frank. And it's
yeah,
like, why is Frank in this movie past like 2 seconds at the beginning? I I don't know. Like the ending it really really bothered me to the point where it kind of ruined everything that I liked about the movie because I don't think you like Jean's not an interesting character and you're forcing an emotional ending with a character you barely wrote is basically how you're ending this 2.5 hour
yeah.
Spider-Man movie. That's just my thing. Is that
Yeah, it
crazy?
does come down to writing, like especially at that point, it's like, oh, this is what we were building towards, and it just doesn't really click with you, and you're just like, I thought this movie, like to me, like going into this film, I was like really excited to see Peter Parker and MJ, all this stuff. And I would have loved an emotional moment at the end there where it felt naturalistic.
Sure.
Like, you know, and then we end with this big speech thing and this conversation that you're just talking about. And it's just like, man, I also miss the days when Spider-Man villains would steal MJ. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
Like steal
she's
MJ.
trying. Jean is but
Jean like it does that thing, right? Where
yeah, but
Jean
she
like,
doesn't
takes over.
take her
But she
really.
but she
Yeah.
like leaves. Like she like has that conversation, has the kiss. It's almost it's kind of like really immature for
Yeah,
Jean to do that, right? It's just like fucking toying
I
with him for no
know.
reason.
It's kind of
Like
funny.
just like kisses him and then just leaves,
Yeah.
jumping off a building. It's just like okay. So yeah, I mean, I would have just loved an emotion like I mean, obviously you have to build it from the very beginning of like how Peter Parker goes about restoring these relationships that were diminished from this big terrible choice he made in the third one, right? And just like building towards that, and then you have a big battle with like the telepathy, which I agree is like a very interesting power. I loved seeing the
Yeah,
bodies moving,
I
the
think it's used
physicality
pretty
there.
well. Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
camera's kinda going, it's tracing the physical movements, there's something there.
Yeah, but it does get gimmicky at a certain points where like it'll be like, "Oh, you didn't know it was me? I thought you could
No,
tell."
it
Like,
gets so bad, it gets so corny when they break into, like, the wedding, and then there's, like, this guy near the window, he's like, "Come and catch me, Spidey," and then he, like,
yeah,
leaves, I'm like, "What are we
goes
doing?"
away.
Like, yeah, I don't know.
Like just like that, I just would have really loved for it to be like again just based around the MJ situation and kind of that be the emotional pull and using like
Yeah,
a good villain with like a villain with like good interesting powers to like build that up to a big climactic conclusion of
yeah.
defeating this villain in a smart way and then, like, saving MJ, and I almost like, the whole time, I'm just like, I know it's, like, really hard to kinda just mansplain memories to someone, you know? But there's many moments where I'm like, "Peter, you're such a baby. You're such a chicken." You know what I mean? Where there's good moments too where he kinda looks at them and he's like, "Man, maybe their life is better without me," right? Because they're
Mhm.
out of danger.
Yeah.
Um,
But then
I don't know, I
Zendaya makes a good point where she's like, my people are trying to kill me like the past 2 days, you know?
yeah,
He's like, at
yeah.
that point, I'd be like, yeah, all right, I should probably just tell you what the hell's going on.
Yeah, I'll be like, "Yeah, so this is a memory I have, and, like, we did this, and we did this," and there's no refuting that, and then, obviously, you can't force her to be in love with you at that point.
Yeah.
But honestly, I kind of would've even liked that happening, and then MJ saying, I'm not down. I'm in love with another person," and
Yeah.
just ending it there. Like, that would be
Yeah.
so interesting.
Sure.
It'd
I
be
mean,
so interesting,
something
of being
more.
like, you don't get the girl.
Yeah.
Like, Spider-Man doesn't get the girl. There's
Yeah.
something real about
I
that.
mean, technically they did that last movie, but it's like, I don't I just think they kind of put themselves in a corner with that, where I don't know if
But they
there's.
they they do a thing where it's like, "I'm gonna find you, right? And I
Oh,
promise I'll
okay.
tell you." Right? It's like,
Oh,
"You'll find
okay,
me, right?
sure.
You'll find me, right?" And he's like, "I promise I'll find you. I'll find you, and I'll
Right.
tell you everything."
Yeah, so kinda
Right?
like like, maybe, like, being misled and it doesn't actually work. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Um,
that would be, like, so emotionally more in tune to what's been set up, I guess.
yeah. I think more on that ending, why I think I would have preferred an action sequence as an ending is for I think, like, the action in the movie is actually good. Like, there's, like, pretty good stuff and interesting stuff, a lot more interesting than a lot of other, Marvel movies or even just blockbuster movies. It's not incredible or anything, but it's like it's totally serviceable. I'm using that word again. Um, and I think them not doing this and doing the Jean Grey thing, where it's just kind of like, oh, she now there she's become good, and there's like that whole thing. I feel like it's an MCU timeline thing where they have to set up this character for the X-Men or whatever the hell they do, rather than like thinking about the movie they have, which again is just the MCU is a cancer, kind of.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Do you have anything else to say about?
No,
I
not
guess the
really.
hand. I actually really fuck with the hand. The
Okay.
You know what that is? Like the ninjas, kind of the swords, like red.
So, I will say, I was dozing off at that point a little
Fair,
bit.
fair.
When they were getting introduced, I remember seeing them, and I remember
S-
eyes kind of drooping
There's
a little bit,
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden, we're at the exposition thing at the end, and I
yeah.
was like,
That's
"What the
fair.
fuck happened with those
There's no
ninjas?"
information about them really. Is that they were like bad guys, and then the Department of Defense or whatever, like
Oh, yeah, I remember
made
them being,
them
like, in charge at
good,
the beginning.
but then
Yeah.
Jean started like mind controlling them basically, and so they fought Spider-Man, and like kind of that's kind of the climax scene of like there's a line where Jean Grey's talking to Spider-Man and she's like, "Are you Peter Parker or are you Spider-Man?" And then he goes through like this change and he's like, "I'm both." Boom, like
Oh, yeah,
just
I rewatched that.
that is like
Yeah, I saw.
that was a big eye roll moment for me at least. From like I don't know, I mean, it's just like MCU's. That's what you're gonna get. But I was hoping
Yeah,
this movie would be a little more mature and stuff. But what I like about the hand is the way they kind of move and the way they fight. And there's like a lot of like kung fu. Feels very inspired by like kung fu movies, where they're kind of like flying through the air and that
yeah,
stuff. Where I'm like, I kind of want more of them. Like I kind of want like
yeah,
this to be like I don't know, like Spider-Man kind of figuring this out in the street, maybe like throughout the whole movie, and then Jean Grey's controlling them, and it's like kind of more of like that vibe. You know what I mean?
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
Um, I just like them. They're just cool. Like
How do you fix an MCU film? We will never know.
fire Kevin Feige, dismantle the entire system,
Yeah.
anarchy.
Again, I'm still on the thing where we should have ended at Endgame. Doesn't matter if we liked or disliked whatever happened before, but I think Endgame was a great conclusion, for what that's worth, and just like leave it, bro. Like
Mm,
make your own like side series or whatever. We don't have to like keep like referring to Endgame. Like I think it's even mentioned in here. It's like the 5 year thing. It's like, oh my gosh, we're still talking about the 5 years in darkness bullshit from Endgame. Like,
uh,
come on, bro. It's so ridiculous. But yeah.
okay, I have a game for you.
Okay, I have no clue what this is, so I'm
Yeah.
really excited.
Okay, I want you to try to guess. I'll give you 5 strikes. You have to guess in order from lowest average rating on Letterboxd to highest of all the Spider-Man movies.
Wait, so this is not all 11? I'm doing like the top 5?
No, you get 5 like wrong
Oh, so I'm doing
answers.
the whole
You're
thing.
doing the
I'm
whole
doing
thing.
the whole
Yeah.
thing. Okay. All Spider-Mans.
Yes.
Man, that's really hard. And I'm like a letterbox nerd, and I'm always on
I know.
letterbox.
This
I'm
game would
always
kind of
looking
be
at the
funnier if it
ratings.
was me because
Yeah.
I know nothing. I'm kind of scared that you just like know this stuff, but
No, this is still hard.
it shocked me. I was looking at this like no way. The
Okay.
lowest one is a 3.25.
3.25. Okay, then I know what it is. Spider-Man 3.
Yes.
Okay. Which is
And
so insane.
the
First of all, so insane.
yeah,
You
so
don't have to give
crazy.
me the ratings. You don't have to give me the
No,
ratings.
I'm not, but okay, yeah. Actually, it's fine. Just guess.
Okay, so Spider-Man 3, the lowest. First of all, we have to talk about that bullshit.
Yeah.
I've been seeing so many comments online with my Spider-Man ranking, and it's just like, why? I don't understand why people are like, the pacing is slow. The
It's like not at
it should
all. It's so
it should have
fast.
been two movies, and the whole time I'm thinking, I watched these movies back to back to back, like the trilogy. It didn't feel any different. Like I don't. If I'd never looked at the scores on Letterboxd, I would be like, they're all the same average because they all have the same feel, and they're like, oh, it's so corny. I'm like, the corniness is what makes it so like kind of great, and like my favorite in my opinion.
I
Um,
think the third one is more comedic in a lot of ways, like directly trying to be like comedic, and playing it very kind of seriously, where he's like the dance is famous, right? And I think
I love the
people
dance.
take
Oh man,
that as, oh, that's weird, and so it's bad. Like again, like that kind of mindset
I
where
know,
it
but
feels
it's funny
off.
because it's so ridiculous because then they look at these Tom Holland Spider-Mans and they'll give them 4.5
Yeah,
stars.
right.
And I'm like, those are the whole movie is ridiculous and
Yeah,
playing
but
that
it's like
tone.
it's like a more like brainless comedy where like they think they're funny in in Tom Holland's, but in Peter Parker, like Peter Parker is seriously thinks he's like a cool guy, but for the audience, it's like this is a nerd trying to be a cool guy, and it's funny because of that. And like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, people are crazy about that. Whatever.
Okay. Number 10. Also, wait, so I'm doing the animated ones as well.
Correct. So
Those
there's
are
10
the
total
two those are the two highest. I know that.
or
That's 1 and 2.
11 total, I guess.
Okay. I know the animated ones are 1 and 2, so I don't have to worry about those for a little bit. It has to be the next one has to be Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yes, it is tied at a 3.25.
Okay, great.
Crazy.
Nuts. Absolutely insane. I won't comment on that because this is bullshit. Um, man, is the Amazing Spider-Man 1 over Far From Home? I think it is. I think Far From Home is next.
Far From Home is next.
Let's go.
3.42.
Okay. Now it's Amazing Spider-Man or Homecoming. That's very interesting. Amazing Spider-Man, what is that? I'm guessing Amazing Spider-Man's at like a 3.6 or something. So I'm gonna guess Homecoming.
Correct. Homecoming is at 3.51.
Let's go.
I'll change it to 3 strikes. You got 3 strikes.
Okay.
You're doing too good.
Okay, I'll do the next one, The Amazing Spider-Man.
Yes, The Amazing Spider-Man at a 3.58. Kind of insane.
Wild. People love Andrew Garfield, man.
Yeah.
I think Andrew Garfield being sexy is like all these girls given that. I actually
Well,
think
Emma Stone too.
I think The Amazing Spider-Man is like the Spider-Man for girls. Like that's kind of
Interesting.
because I was asking some coworkers who their favorite Spider-Man is. One coworker said Tom Holland, and I've decided to never speak to that person again.
Yeah.
And then all the guys were saying Toby's the GOAT, and then all the girls are like Andrew Garfield.
I think at least with like the girls my age, all love Tom Holland. And so I think they would say Tom Holland because
Yeah.
like Tom Holland's a younger guy, you know.
Yeah. I mean, they're both more attractive than Tobey Maguire.
That's true.
And that's
Yeah.
Okay, so how many do I have left?
6. Yeah, you have 6 left.
There's 6 more movies. Oh, okay. Ooh, this is hard.
Yeah.
I know No Way Home is really high. Like egregiously, I think it's at like a 3.8 or something, which is so insane. I can't imagine a world where No Way Home is over Spider-Man. So I'll go No Way Home next.
It is No Way Home at a 3.86. So high.
So insane.
So crazy.
Okay, I'm glad that it's not over. I have 5 left.
Yes.
What do I have left? I have Spider-Man 2, 1, and the animated ones. What's the last one?
Brand New Day.
Oh, Brand New Day.
Shit. Of course.
Oh, fuck. Brand New Day. Okay, I will go next Spider-Man.
Yes, Spider-Man at a 3.88, only 0.02 off from Spider-Man No Way Home. Yeah.
Isn't this a crazy world we live in?
I know.
Crazy.
It is. It is.
This is Letterboxd is proof that regular moviegoers should not be critics.
Yeah, and it's funny because I remember looking at these ratings probably like a few years ago or something, or maybe even like 4 years ago, and it was so totally different, you know. But the Letterboxd audience has changed so much.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many more people on this app.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the big problem: Spider-Man 2 or Brand New Day. I mean, like, I'm gonna go next. I'm gonna go Brand New Day next because there's no Spider-Man 2 is like well regarded. Like people love that movie. Spider-Man 2 has to be over Brand New Day. No shot.
It is not Spider-Man, or it is not. So you said it was Brand New Day. It is not Brand New Day next.
Okay, so it has to be Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, it's Spider-Man 2 at a 3.94.
It only has a 3.94?
Yeah.
Wow, I would think that movie would be way higher. It's just insane that even like Spider-Man 2, which like isn't one of my favorite, like it's like tied, right, with the whole trilogy. There's 2 things that stick out to me there. It's only like 0.1 over No Way Home, and it's also like 0.6 over Spider-Man 3? That's insane.
Yeah.
So insane. Okay, so Brand New Day is next.
Yeah,
at 3.
Brand New Day is at 3 with a 4.15.
So
You know.
it's very fresh.
Yeah,
right?
it's got the recency bias.
It has the recency bias. I assume.
Where do you think it's gonna
I
land?
hope. Like I think a year from now it'll be at like a 3.9.
Yeah, I agree. Exactly. Yeah.
Like
similar to Spider-Man No Way
no-
Home used to be like a 4.4, I think. Like when that
That's
first
insane.
released. Yeah, it was like it was in like the top 250 for sure.
Yeah,
I'm like
that's
fairly
insane.
certain. That was the thing.
Yeah, I kind of remember that as well. Um, okay,
All right,
so the last two,
last two.
the animated ones, which are great, right? I have to think because this is the opinion of these two have changed a lot. Because when Across the Spider Verse released, it was the number one rated on Letterboxd. It's one of five
Damn.
films that were rated number one. I think it had like a 4.6 average when it released, and held on to that for a little bit. A little more Letterboxd trivia. I think the only other movies that have been number one is Godfather when it first released, Harakiri Now, Come and See,
Parasite.
Parasite, and Across the Spider Verse. I think those five movies have all been number one.
There is one imposter among us.
Yeah, there's one imposter. So I mean, that's so hard that it's been a couple years since Across the Spider Verse came out, and Into is like kind of regarded as being better. I still think there's no way it dropped that much. And I always look at this list. I feel like I should know this off the bat. So I'll go Into as number 2.
You're correct. Into has an average rating of 4.39.
And so what is it ranked? What is it ranked on the top 500?
I have no idea.
It should tell you on the list thing.
I wrote it in my notes app, so throwing me off here. Let me check. It's
Let's
so
see how
Into
big
the
the difference
Spider Verse is at 73.
Okay, and then Across is number 1. And what is that?
Across the Spider Verse is number 1. Its average rating is at I think 4.4 even. And it is number 64 on the Letterboxd Top 500.
Okay, so it's not too far apart. I think after a couple
it's very
years,
close.
I think Into will
Probably. Yeah, especially
remain
well,
ahead.
maybe, but if the part 2 comes out and that one's so loved, maybe people think of it as one and it kind of gets
Well,
complimented.
I think when the third one comes out, people will be rewatching the first two, right? And I think opinions will change there, or
Maybe.
they're like Into the one.
It's anything can
And
happen.
because I think they will. A lot of people will kind of bank their love for Across onto the third one.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, it doesn't feel like a complete film right now.
Yeah.
And all this.
Unless the third is a failure.
Cool. Well, I did pretty good.
Yeah, no, you did really good. I would have done absolutely horrible. I don't know if I'd get like 3 right.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
I wish
job.
we would have done this with you, but you had like already done all the research and you like knew what it was.
Yeah. It was just a little
We
surprise for you.
We should do another game like this, and I'll come up with it, and it'll be a little more interesting, and I'll give you 5 strikes. I only got 1 strike.
Give me 10
strikes. What was it?
Yeah. No, yeah. Okay, cool. Let's what'd you watch this week?
Okay, I watched a lot of good stuff. So I rewatched The Doom Generation and Nowhere from Greg Araki.
Yes.
And when I watched these, it's part of a trilogy. Totally Fucked Up is really bad. It's like the first one. And these ones have always been, they have really high ratings on Letterboxd. And when I first watched them, I gave them both 3 stars. And that the reason why is because beginning of my film journey, they're so strange. There's no movie. When I first watched it, I was like, there's no movie like this, and it's so weird. I don't know if like this is good or not. Because it's like almost purposely bad. Like if you watch these movies, they're like these are purposely shot really weird. The acting is so strange. The dialogue is like insanely strange. Like it's so quirky and like what the fuck. And so I was like, okay. And on a rewatch, I agree. There's no movie like these. Like these 2 movies are. There's no one's doing it like Greg Araki, but I appreciate it way more. And I'm like, these are so good. They're so good, and they're so fun because of that. They're so fun because of that weird dialogue. They're so fun because it's shot like that, and the acting is strange, and the concepts of the film are like, oh, we're doing aliens on the last day of the world. Like, what the fuck? And we're doing like these people driving around accidentally killing people, and now it's all in the news that they're on a murder spree. And it's also a threesome thing, and I'm like, this is just so No one's doing it like Greg Araki, and it's so fun. And you see so much personality from the director, which is so rare. Like you don't see much like personality from directors that extremely. I think Doom Generation is better than Nowhere compared to like a lot of people think Nowhere is like that one. Um, and Doom Generation is funny enough. It's a road trip movie, and I like it, which is so hard to do. Like I just
Yeah.
love the concept of it, and they're both like 80 minutes long. They're super short. Um, I wouldn't say they're accessible because I mean, lots of sex, lots of drugs, lots of smoking, lots of murder, and all that stuff. So yeah, and then I rewatched Far From Home, 1 star. Next, I watched Snake Eyes in theaters by De Palma.
Ooh, big one, eh?
Oh my god, it's far and beyond. It's really close to Blowout from being my favorite. The the actual like setting of this film, it all takes place in one night. Nicolas Cage does a performance of a lifetime that's just insane. The actual concept of the film and the structure of it is like, what the fuck is going on? You replay the same moment that happens at the beginning of the film like 10 times in different perspectives, all with like handheld shots. And it the way that because like I know that they have to reshoot this scene multiple times, right? But you'll see it like this one guy standing up here happens, and then you see that happen, and then you see it again on that perspective, and you see that guy stand up. It's just all perfectly choreographed to the T of the second of what is happening in this arena during this boxing match. It's just so insane, and I love it so much. It's a masterpiece. It's genuinely a masterpiece. The feel of the actual concept of the location being a boxing arena attached to a casino with a hotel, and you just going through all these locations is just, and all during like a hurricane outside. It's just so fun. It's I actually probably would say this is the most fun movie I've ever seen. Like I've never like it's probably my favorite movie ever. Like in regards of like I can just turn off my brain and have fun. Like I'll be showing this movie to my kids. Like it's just this I'll be showing this to my wife. I'll be showing this to my dad. I'll be showing this to my brother. I could watch this endlessly. It's just so fun.
Mhm.
Um yeah, and De Palma is like probably my favorite director. Um and then I watched The Green Ray. This felt really big to me. More so than Snake Eyes, because I didn't know I was getting into Snake Eyes. And Green Ray is like known to be like the Romare movie, to, like kind of get you into Romare. Um, Kind of disappointed there because I like Claire's Knee and A Tale of Summer a lot more because it feels more romantic. I will say this is kind of like from the first 4 movies I've seen from Romare, who I'm loving, by the way. I don't have one movie that I don't like from him so far. This one kind of feels like the antithesis of what I'm used to. So maybe this is a movie that I kind of grow with because rather than like it being based off of romance, it's kind of being based off not having any romance and
Mhm.
the sorrow of being alone. Which is, I mean, I don't want that to be a gripe, but also I think Romero is the best filmmaker ever to portray romance on screen. Like you can cut the tension on the screen with a knife kind of thing. And when there's not any of that in the movie, it's just kind of hard. And then the whole romance being like the last 5 minutes, it's just kind of like, man, like it kind of solidifies me like, man, I wish the whole movie was like that. I know you've seen The Green Ray. Have you seen
Yes.
any other Romeres?
No.
So that's your only Romero.
Pretty sure
So
I might have seen a short, but
I mean that's kind of great because I mean if you end up like getting into Romero, which I highly recommend anyone doing, he's very accessible. Um, I think you'll love his like more romantic heavy stuff because I think that's what makes Romero like one of the best.
yeah, I think I'll love
I to
Romare.
this day to this day I remember people like recommending me Romero because I love Trier. Um, I still struggle to find like a correlation there in a lot of ways. But that's just me.
Hmm.
And then I rewatched No Way Home, 1 star. And then I watched Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Just off a whim. I wasn't even planning to watch this, but they had like the end credit scene of No Way Home being about Doctor Strange. It was like literally a trailer for this movie. It was the end credit scene. I was like, you know what? I'll fucking try it. And I mean, it's MCU. I didn't really like it. There's actually like, I think there's the best shot scene in all of MCU is in this film with it's like in a house with, and it's like a horror, and it's like
Yeah.
the house feels really weird, and I was like, oh, this feels so Evil Dead.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It feels like
It's when
putting Evil
Sam
Dead in
Raimi
this.
comes through, it's like, okay, this is cool. This isn't like the
Yeah, yeah,
MCU.
yeah. And it's great that that movie kind of set up Send Help, which is cool.
Yeah.
And then I watched Brand New Day, and then I watched The Child from the Dardenne brothers. Of course, I watch a Dardenne movie every month. Same with Romare and Rivette. But yeah, I mean, this one felt kind of just like safe and basic, which is kind of strange because this won the Palm
Mm,
in 2005. Um, and I mean, when you compare it to their first film that won the Palm, which is Rosetta, it's like Rosetta's just better in every way. The Child just kind of feels very, very safe. Good performances. Um, Kind of just stupid decisions all the time, and I don't really like when stuff like that happens. And then I watched Music Fashion Film, the movie directed by Charlie XCX, to pair with her album. I really liked her album when I listened to it last week. And I will say it's probably the most pretentious piece of dog shit I have ever seen in my life.
my
I
God.
don't know who Charlie thinks she is. Um, I love Charlie as an artist, and I love her opinions on art and all that stuff, and I think she's cool. But when she puts herself on screen, like the moment is just a great example. Like she's just trying to be the artsy girl, and that's just really hard for me to like be like, oh, you're good. You're not good because you're trying to be artsy, right? I don't know. It's just very strange. All her music videos and like the snippets in between are just like, oh my gosh, we should do this on a whim. Like I just had this idea for a music video. We should do this, and I have this idea, and it sounds cool on paper, but then when you watch it, it's just like really whatever. Brandon Cronenberg, or David Cronenberg is the highlight of this, obviously. And then I watched Sheep in the Box in theaters. Um, Corey Ida is a very interesting filmmaker. He is very liminal. He's very soft and slow. So I mean, if you go from Brand New Day to watching this, I think you would probably fall asleep. It's just very slow filmmaking, and I really like that aspect of it. It's great commentary on AI, where it kind of stays in the middle, which I kind of like. It doesn't really have an opinion. Um, at first is what you think, right? And then like you're kind of having sympathy for this child who's artificial. But I think this is his saddest, one of his saddest films. Shoplifters is another really sad film by him. But I mean, it's all about grief. Like you can't deal with your child being dead, so you make a reincarnation of it that's artificial. And it's really interesting how this artificial kid is like always happy, and there's like it's never doing anything wrong, right? And there's a moment where it talks about it's basing its emotions off of your emotions, which is so cool and such an interesting concept because the mother is obviously happy to have her child again. So the kid is just kind of basing his own emotions with the opinion of the mom, right? It's not
mhm.
making its own decisions, and that's really interesting. And then I watched I Want Your Sex by Greg Araki in theaters. Maybe the funniest film ever. My theater we were all crying laughing. There's so many moments in this film that are just like ridiculous. Cooper Hoffman in these very vulnerable positions. Like
Right.
he's wearing like a baby outfit laid down getting spanked by Olivia Wilde.
Yeah.
Um it's just so much fun. It's not taking itself too seriously. It's short, it's sweet. It's not trying to have this crazy message about
Did you hear what
anything.
Gregor Rocky I saw him intro the movie where he was just basically like, "Oh, this the world's so shit right now. I just wanted to make a fun movie. Like, I don't wanna make a sad movie at this time, so just have a good
Yeah.
time. It's 90 minutes." I was like, "Oh, that's so I could like this."
It
Like, he's so
and
cool.
you really feel that. You really, really do.
Yeah.
It just it's just like pure filmmaking fun, and Cooper Hoffman should win an Oscar for this. He is insanely good. Like there's the facial expressions are insane, and Olivia Wilde is great as well. She's on an absolute tear this year. Um, so yeah, and then I rewatched White Bird in a Blizzard by Greg Araki. This is a movie that when I watched it last September, I haven't stopped thinking about it. I was like, "There's no way I only gave this a 3.5. I just can't stop thinking about it." And so I wanted to kind of round out since I made the Greg Araki list, and it's my second favorite after his magnum opus, Mysterious Skin, which is like one of the greatest movies ever made. It's insanely sad. Like the whole time I'm near tears, just like how sad this movie is. And it's obviously it's his lowest rated film, and I can see why. It's just so strange and weird, and it's serious. There's no like overtly like LGBTQ thing going on. It's like a murder mystery, which is like so fun.
Mhm.
And Shailene Woodley is great in it, and just the acting is insane, and the ending just breaks my heart. I just want to cry thinking about it. And it's such a dream state film. There's dream sequences in this that are to die for. So yeah. And then I went to a Q&A of One Night Only. Just a really shit movie. Just like I don't know what else to say. It's just like unfortunately like I liked Anyone But You, and then this just felt like they they even have like Anyone But You references in this film.
Really?
It's just like really strange
The
and
Will
weird.
Gluck cinematic universe? That's crazy.
Yeah, it's you'll know when you see it. It's just like, bro, what?
Mm.
You don't feel the romance at all, and it's also kind of like a one night spree type of thing, and the kind of the logic of the world that it's doing is so strange, where it's like a mandate where you can't they kind of chip everyone's wrist to where you if you are if your hormones are spiking before sex, the police will come to your door and arrest you. Um, yeah, it's just really really strange.
Okay.
And the Q&A after was just really like I had secondhand embarrassment by the Q&A the whole time. I was just like, this is the weirdest Q&A ever. I
Mm.
just did not have a good time. I just wanted to leave the whole Q&A. I was like, I need to tag it. And then I watched Green Snake. And then before hopping on this pod, I got cut early from work. And so I went grocery shopping, and I had a little time before Luke could hop on. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to watch whatever is on my screen first. And it was 72 Hours, the new Netflix film with
Oh, the new
Kevin
Tim
Hart.
Story.
Yeah. Um, the fun, the funniest thing about this entire film is that it has almost every actor of two movies I saw recently. So it has Michael Mando, which is in Spider-Man: Brand New Day as Scorpion,
Okay.
and then it has Ben Marshall and Cam Patterson, who were
SNL.
both in yes, and Cam Patterson is famously got famous here in Austin from
Right.
Kill Tony, I love, and they were both in One Night Only.
Oh,
And
really?
then you have Mason Gooding, who was in I Want Your Sex.
Oh.
So I basically
Mm.
watched like a culmination of all these actors that I've recently seen a movie from, um,
It's
in this
interesting.
big clusterfuck of a movie that is so stupid. It's like the most Netflix movie ever. Where of course I don't know if you have ever seen a Netflix like if you've seen enough Netflix movies, you know they're gonna add the mob to it no matter what. They're always adding the mob to their movies. Like it's like the most
Oh,
ridiculous
really?
thing ever. And like a music switch, and then
Uh.
you're just like, oh, there's a drug lord involved here, and like I'm like, oh my god, are you serious? Getting that as on me.
It's like ChatGPT writing that shit.
I also hate I also hate the title of it where it's all caps hours. I'm just like,
Mhm.
ugh, this is so stupid. It's like one of the worst movies I mean I've ever seen. There's racist jokes in here. by Kevin Hart, making fun of Latinos. And
Sweet.
yeah, it's just, I mean, Marcelo is like really lame in this, and I don't know what Tiana Taylor, after fucking one battle after another, is just an absolute slop. I don't know what
Right.
I want to find her
Scary
manager
movie.
and I want to
Yeah.
find her manager and shoot her. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I guess she's getting that check, but whatever. So yeah, that's what I watched this weekend.
Cool. Okay. I kind of rounded out my what's his name? Nicholas Winding Refn binge with Fear X. I'm not gonna watch the Pusher trilogy quite yet. I'm just like saving
Why?
it. Cause I was gonna go through all of
Uh,
them, but I'm like, those seem pretty like I want to save them for a time when I'm like feeling that, and then I can watch like all of them, like somewhat in a row.
back to back. Yeah.
Not like same day, but like over the like continuously.
Yeah.
Um. So yeah, Fear X. It's pretty good. It's interesting. Um it's basically about John Turturro plays a guy who's like a mall security guy, and his wife is murdered mysteriously, and he kind of takes it upon himself to figure out why his wife was killed, right? Like why did this happen to him, and kind of is very sad, and you know so he kind of goes and investigates this, and it's more of a conventional kind of studio movie for Refn in terms of like a um like a move, like a concept you can sell pretty, just like revenge
Mhm.
kind of thing. um and I think John Turturro is really miscast. I like John Turturro. I think it's a big mistake to have him in this role, and I really felt that the whole time. There's a cool part in the movie where like the kind of this big event that this movie's been building up happens at the end, and like turns into like a Stan Brockage like kind of like film, celluloid experimental film thing for a second. And I'm like, damn, and that's just kind of what you get some cool stuff with Refn, some cool images for sure. um, it just kind of as a whole, it just was kind of flat for me, where I just didn't care that like enough to, really have a great time. But uh it's like I would definitely recommend it to you, as like so you were just gonna skip it. Like I think it's worth watching for sure.
The only one I haven't seen. Who
Yeah.
would you cast instead of Totoro?
So he's basically kind of what I think of his character as like a Schrader-esque character. Um, it's tough. Like it honestly could be a lot of people. I think I don't know. I don't know. It's tough because like that his age range is kind of harder now. But I don't know. I can't think of anyone. Put me on the spot.
E-
Someone else.
Ethan Hawke.
Sure. I mean, yeah. I don't know if that would be like the best, but it would be a better movie with Ethan Hawke.
Yeah. Uh,
um, yeah.
Speaking of which,
Right. Okay. Before Sunset. Yes. Okay. So really crazy. Like, okay, obviously so great. We've even like just sprinkled. We probably have like throughout this podcast just like talked about how good this movie is. And it's ending, baby, you're gonna miss that plane, I know, beautiful, beautiful, romantic. I like a lot, like their conversation is I mean their conversation obviously very interesting, and it's like and something I appreciate so much of watching these is how hard it is to have like to make this interesting. Like it's kind of like one in a million, like impossible. You can't like no one can just do this. Like it's like one of the most difficult things to just ever do is to have, two people and you're not technically writing any backstory about them, but they're just kind of like talking about like their perspective on certain things, and you just make it really interesting and so like lived in and real. Obviously it's like these movies are just magic, lightning in a bottle, and that's just always fun to watch. What surprised me coming from uh, s- so the differences between Before Sunrise and Sunset for me, I actually thought I was surprised on how Before Sunset, Linklater played into a lot more coverage. He shot a lot of coverage where I don't like that. That really wasn't as much of a thing in Sunrise. But he would basically do like shot reverse shot like a lot of the time in Before Sunset, which I don't like as much, but it's not like it's like totally fine, and it's good because it's Linklater and it's the compositions are really good, and I mean it's he's it doesn't he's not doing it for no reason. It's edited well and stuff like that. But I do like the kind of like the more like lingering kind of um feeling in Sunrise, and I think that also goes to Sunrise feels longer, I think, and more, like I think Sunset is very concise, like, it's very, like it's really yeah, it's just really concise versus Sunrise's kind of lingering thing, and I think it works because of he has to catch the plane, and that's kind of it exists within the structure of the movie, um, and the sunset kind of being about um that your time really goes by really quick. You can't take moments for granted. There's a great line in the movie that's kind of like about how when you're younger you think that you're going to make so many connections and have so many relationships with so many different people, and when you're older you realize that it only happens a few times. And so it's kind of like they're kind of regretting not fulfilling that moment in Sunrise, and really kind of him choosing to stay is just beautiful. But making the movie about time with that structure, I think, is so great. And Sunrise being more about like these places and kind of this like spiritual connection between people. And I love the images of like the train and like it kind of starts on the train tracks, and that stuff is just more appealing to me. Where I just kind of can say that just like personally, I kind of can like some stuff more about Sunrise. So that's why it's my favorite over the second one. But it's they're both just
Yeah,
incredible.
I mean, obviously, Sunset is in my top 10 movies of all time. And I agree with everything you're saying about the differences between them. I think one big thing is I think why Sunset is so good is because of the context you're given with Sunrise. And it adds like this romantic tension that is like insane.
Yeah.
Like I always like to like I remember someone asking me about this in the comments of my top 10 list, and they're like, why do you like Sunset more than Sunrise? And Sunrise is like falling in love, and then Sunset is like seeing a girl you once fell in love. Like it's almost like you see your ex in public.
Yeah.
Or almost races faster.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, whenever I see an ex or an ex texts me, right, like stuff like that, my heart races faster. And I don't know if there's a reason behind that, but there's like a weird tension that I feel the whole time. I mean, the whole walk up to her apartment is clenched jaw moments, and her
Yeah.
singing at the end and having his name in the song is just
It's beautiful.
so.
Well,
It's
like
like, bro,
he wrote a book about her and she wrote a song about him, because
yeah.
they had no other way to express, their feelings of that night. It's so
And also like
beautiful.
Ethan Hawke like lying that he didn't show up, and then
Right.
like she's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, you did show up," and it's like kind of sad.
Yeah. No, it's
Oh,
brilliant.
it's brutal.
Listen, it's like
Yeah.
one of my favorite movies. Like both of them are like just like literally just lightning in a bottle and saying that they exist. And that's just how I
Yeah.
feel about them.
Are you watching Before Midnight soon?
Yes. Yeah. Unsure exactly when. Like
I'm excited
maybe
to see
not
your
very
opinion.
soon, but me
Yeah,
too.
I'm
Yeah,
excited to see
that's
your opinion.
definitely the one that's more up in the air. I don't know how I'm gonna feel, but yeah. Okay, then I watched. I'm gonna go through Gregor Rocky's filmography, and I'm starting with I'm going chronologically, because I think it'll be fun. Um, so his first film is Three Bewildered People in the Night. It's a like no budget college film about it's like Super 8. The copy online is like this very shitty, like Japanese subtitled thing. Um, but and it's it's kind of you expect it to not be great, right? Because of it being a student film. But what is so great about I think really valuable about watching a great singular director's early work is seeing like um where they come from, seeing like little flares in their style, in their very early work, and kind of also their influences. You could see a lot of like French New Wave in this, and um like Jim Jarmusch and stuff like that. So it's it's very
Totally agree. He is like he's nothing like that at
all
all.
right, he probably is just in a way where he like uses that and like has since like become so like very very singular. But
All right.
if that makes sense, like uh,
Are you gonna watch all like in chronologically and then end with "I Want Your Sex"?
yeah. See, that's the probably not. I probably will do I Want Your Sex just somewhere when I can see it, but then
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
because I don't think I'm gonna watch them that quickly. But
Yeah.
yeah. So it's about basically this. What's good about this movie is it's like a triangle of people. It's like this guy and a girl are dating, and then their friend is a gay guy, and that the gay guy dated the girl in the past, but then came out as gay, but so there's just like this, and then the straight guy maybe, has a little bit of feelings for the gay guy,
Okay, that's
right?
very.
Yeah, so you can like, yeah, it's like, um,
Oh my
so
god.
like that stuff's good where like it's kind of it's all kind of building to this like threesome tension, and
Yeah.
that stuff's very fun, and it's like wow I can it's cool watching the early stuff and seeing that, but it's kind
There
of
is
like
there is no straight guy in a Greg Araki film. I will tell you that.
well this one, yeah, I mean, yeah, uh
I love that.
so the thing is a lot like these movies are very much just like people kind of going around talking about life and like talking about stuff, and it's just kind of a thing where yeah his earlier stuff, when college students do that it's not that great because I think you're young and it's just not going to be super profound, whatever,
Yeah.
especially with this kind of no budget, he's just doing it on his own, and so it's kind of not that crazy or super interesting, but it's not like bad. It's not like that bad. It's still very impressive that it's like pretty solid, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, then I watched Excalibur. Yeah, yeah.
Insane film.
It's crazy. It's just great. I mean, it's funny, after all these like fucking bullshit, like dark fantasy AI shit, like slop you see on your page, just using like Excalibur as like the base. But it is so cool. It's so I don't know. It's just great. Just great image making. Like I was just like loving the direction, and I guess like it's just like obviously beautiful and stuff like that. I'll say that what stands out so much for me is Nicole Williamson, who plays Merlin in the movie. It's just kind of it's a performance that's so funny and unique and so great, where every time I watch a fantasy movie, I'll say this, and we'll talk about this with Green Snake, but it's like, man, you can't make this movie anymore. Like you just can't do it. Like this Merlin, the actor playing Merlin, that performance doesn't exist in any modern sense. where it should, because it's so brilliant and so fun and it works so well, and he's such an interesting character. Um, and he's being really, silly and shit. And it's just like, why are and after Brand New Day, even, watching a fantasy movie, I won't shit on Brand New Day, whatever. But it's like, why are we acting in our fantasy sci-fi movies like the same way as we act in Manchester by the Sea, or like our drama movies? Like, why is there only one way of acting, and that's continuous throughout every genre that we have, Or like, I'm watching Merlin and I'm like, yeah, this should kind of be how everyone acts and when there's fucking magic going on, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I was just like really enamored by that performance. Yeah, so I highly recommend that if you're interested in like that fantasy vibe. It's a big one for that reason. But yeah, that's what I
And
watched.
Excalibur is a dream. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't feel real. I was really enamored when I watched it. Okay, speaking of which, I watched Green Snake this morning.
Yes.
Um, yeah,
Is
I mean,
this is this your first Shao Hawk movie?
yeah, uh, prettiest film ever made. I
It's
mean,
crazy.
come on, it's the visual stuff, the colors going on here is bizarre. It's so insane. I mean, every single shot is gorgeous. I was trying to pick a backdrop for my letterbox review, and I couldn't pick.
That's
I was
always
like,
fun. Yeah.
like fuck. There's a million fucking shots in here that are insane. Um, Maggie Chung is a fucking snake. Hell yeah. Like
Exactly.
it's
End it
so
there.
it's I don't know. The movie is so insane and fun and similar to Excalibur, like a dream state.
Yeah.
Um, it's also just like the character dynamics here are super fun. Um, like the two snake girls, they're kind of like spouting for this one guy, and that's kind of fun. And there's like a great resolution there of Green Snake telling White Snake like, "You can have him, you can have him." Like things like that. And I love this movie does feel very like surreal in a lot of instances where
Yeah.
like similar to before I even say that, there's a shot that is literally like Bahubali's like this, where they're literally holding the baby out of the water. I'm like, oh, that's Bahubali.
Oh,
Um, I mean, Bahubali does it a little more extreme, where the woman
yes.
holding the baby is dead and just like staying there.
Yeah. And it's like
That's a
the
little more,
opening image, right? As like this is
yeah,
like
that's the biggest thing.
Jesus or
And
something.
and this is like the ending scene, um, which is really cool. Uh, but no, there's like a lot of like quirky moments where like the the guy that they're fighting over, his name is, let's see, his name is huh? Husin, I think that's his name. Husin. Um anyways, like there's a moment where he's like walking on the boat and Green Snake's like turning into a snake and he just jumps into the water.
Yeah.
And then he like turns, is like, oh, someone fell, and then White Snake
Yeah.
just turns towards her and is like, you're here now, or whatever. And it's like, what about your sisters? Like, don't worry, she can
Yeah.
swim well. And like just like it's just like the actual like the interactions between these people are so funny, and like even like holding the umbrella, and then he gives her the umbrella and they start going, and then he sees that she has her own umbrella, and his reaction is like, oh, you have your own umbrella. And instead of like giving it back to him, she's like, you can find it at my house. It's like a weird way to like get him to her house. That's just like so bizarre and wouldn't work in today's world. People would be like, that's so corny, all this stuff. Um, and then you have like the whole like mythological feel
Right.
of this film where it's like the evils, right? The
Right.
evils, they call them the evils. The evils are here. I can sense the evils, and like Buddha is a big play here, um, which I really like. I love the Buddhist statues that are here. Like it's like whoa, those are so sick. And some shots of like the water are insane, where they start drowning all these people out. The villain in the film, like I know you put it as like your thing as like one of your favorite villains. Very interesting because I was going into this film and I knew that he was like a villain, but like he doesn't feel like
Yeah.
one.
Yeah,
Oh,
no.
it's very strange because he's like kind of the good guy and the snakes are the bad guys, but
Right.
then it kind of flips it on its head at the end where the good guy makes a terrible move and then ends up like killing a bunch of people. And then the villain is like, are you really like the savior? Because look at all these dead monks, and it just does a shot of like 100 dead monks on the floor. And it's like, whoa, that's really impactful. And then like even him, like he's starting out as this like hero, and then he turns into this villain for this moment. And then he becomes the hero again, saving the baby. And it's like a really cool progression there. Even he even has like a faulty moment at the beginning where he's like falling under lust, and lust is a big thing here, where it kind of feels like what I kind of felt like this felt like was as a Christian, like Samson and Delilah, like that. It feels very similar to that, where you have this really godly, strong man, and then he gets like he's full of lust for Delilah, who ends up cutting off his hair and he loses all his powers. Like, it kind of feels similar to that, where they're trying to get all these like really religious men to put their guard down, right? In order for their own selfish reasons to become human, which ends up not being selfish at the end of the day. It's like, oh, like the whole
Mhm.
like structure of that is so fun and fun to work with. So yeah, I love this movie. It's gorgeous. It would be a hard recommend to other people
Yeah.
for sure.
No, I think you
Like,
have to be like you have to like kind of be cool. You know? Like
mean, I think we're at the point where we kind of understand where each other's at in film and like what the other person likes and
yeah,
what we wouldn't like. Like
sure.
we both predict. Like I predicted that you like Her Private Hell. Like it's just easy. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, of course Luke's gonna
There's
like that
definitely like
movie.
some of them are like easy. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh, of course that person's gonna like
Yeah,
this
yeah.
movie. Obviously, me and Luke are very different. We have very
Right.
different opinions.
Yeah.
We're not the same. We're not the same person when it comes to movie taste. But there are definitely movies like this where I think I couldn't recommend this to anyone on the street, but I find it where I'm like, okay, this makes sense. Where Luke would recommend this to me, and he knows that I would like it.
Yeah. I
Uh,
mean, I wasn't totally sure, but
really,
it's this one I think like I think well, it's pretty wacky, silly fantasy. It's definitely like more like of like like a me thing, but I think like this kind of thing, it's like it's so beautiful and like so fun that there's no way
yeah.
like you don't like it. It was more
Well, I
like
actually find it very similar to Excalibur, and I have this and an Excalibur at the same rating.
yeah.
It's like I think this is kind of where it lies. I mean, I think it's like I'm never giving a movie like this a 4.5.
Right. That I think
Like
that's probably where we differ, right?
yeah, that's where
Like
we differ. Of like it has like it doesn't emotionally grab me like Bali does,
yeah.
where it feels like, especially like, oh, I will say the music here is great too. I love the music in this. Um, and I got a little taste of that when I posted it on her story, and I had to pick a song from it, and I put the song in, and I was like, oh, this sounds great. And also, music in this is actually there's so much music in this film where the opening song lasts for 10 minutes and the first line of dialogue is happening while music's still going. You never see that in films nowadays. It's always like an intro song, like
Mhm.
I think of Devil Wears Prada 2, right? You have the intro song, and then as soon as she shuts the door, the music stops, and then
Mhm.
there's dialogue.
Mhm.
Whereas this film, the interest is music's playing, and then you introduce the snakes, and they're talking to each other, and the music's just still going.
Mhm.
There's like music over the dialogue for so much of this film, and I think that's like a really special characteristic that this movie has that's like very I don't see much. I don't think I've ever seen that, honestly, where there's like that much music prevalent in the story. So yeah, that's great.
Yeah. I think Green Snake is a good lesson in kind of like I love the Martin Scorsese quote. I probably brought this up multiple times, but where he's kind of talking about how plot is like the secondary force in cinema, and it's kind of not that important, or like a second, it's secondary basically. And kind of he uses Vertigo as an example, and so I'm thinking about it because I just watched Vertigo. Um, as like, when you look at the plot and the things that happen, it's pretty like wacky and it's weird and it kind of doesn't make any sense and it's kind of like ridiculous. But he's like, but there's something about it that makes you keep watching. And he's like, well, what is that? It's the camera angles, it's the performances, the colors, and I think Green Snake is a great kind of lesson in that, where it's so bizarre and it kind of it's hard to follow in a lot of ways. Like it kind of just moves very fast, and it's kind of
Yeah.
this world that you're not familiar with, and it doesn't explain necessarily like every little detail. And it kind of but it's it is just breathtaking, and you like emotionally are very like overwhelmed by everything because the fog is going over the river and they're going in, and the mountains are beautiful, and the sets are, there's this artificialness and all the cherry blossom things, and you know um I think that's kind of what I think about a lot. Like Green Snake, I think really taught me that, especially. So
Yeah.
recommend Green
I
Snake.
I don't want to completely spoil the end of the year review, but I think as of now, this is like my second favorite that you've recommended to me.
Mm. What's the first?
Fountainhead.
Fountainhead,
Fountainhead's the only
right?
four and
Yes.
a half you've gotten out of me.
Okay.
But yeah.
So
Okay, still walking.
maybe
Hell
my
yeah.
favorite recommendation from you. Like,
Oh,
yeah,
see, so I'm glad I picked this and not Nobody Knows. I think you'll still love Nobody Knows, but I think this was more your
probably.
style.
This movie's kind of sensational. Like, it's kind of
Mhm.
like, oh my God. Like,
Yes,
it's
dude.
kind of a thing where, um, if I watch this at night or something, maybe, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like
Don't
it's,
tease a 4.5, bro. Don't
oh,
tease
I
that
was
shit.
so close. Um, yeah, so it's about a family kind of coming together, um, for a certain occasion that we don't really know, and it's kind of revealed over time. And I won't say that here, but um, basically it's this family, and it kind of starts to follow. It focuses on this man who's married to a widowed woman, and the widowed woman he married has a child, and he has kind of a complicated relationship with them. That's really interesting, and kind of bringing this woman into like I kind of meet his family, who he's hesitant to meet, and they're mainly his parents are older, um and very strange, where they his his dad, the grandpa of the family, is very
Best
distant,
character.
and is not, he doesn't really, he's not talking to anyone. Everyone's hanging out, and he's kind of like pretending to, there's a scene where he's just like sitting in his office, like, and someone walks in, and he quickly pretends like he's working on something. It's crazy, it's like, whoa. Um and th- i- yeah, I don't want to say the reveal just because uh it's not the most popular movie, and I think people should just go. It's probably, the experience is better to go watch it without knowing that.
Yeah.
Not that it's like a brand new day Jean Grey reveal, right? You're not.
No.
I mean, I was clapping and cheering. No.
Yeah.
The Yeah. So I mean, what's so powerful about the movie is kind of it's all this family tension that is so just great, and I just love that shit. And so it's just kind of, um and a lot about, like family, and how you're influenced, and there's a lot about, kind of like you have these troubling situations with your family, your parents, right? And at the end of the day, if you're a boy, you're still gonna wanna be like your father, and you're gonna still want their approval and these kinds of things, and you're gonna still, care about each other, and it's so insane. It's such a
Hiro
beautiful.
Hiroshi Abe has, like, this presence with his face that's, like,
Yeah.
so memorable. I always think of his facial expressions, and the grandfather is so good in this, like,
I
he's so
actually
present.
like the grandmother more, but I the
Really?
grandfather has more of a presence, I think because you're right, like his face and he's kind of a he's more important, I think, in terms of, like, the story.
Hiroshi Abe is the son, like, the
Oh, the
adult
son?
son. Yeah,
Oh, yeah, no, I
in the
agree. His face is great.
yeah.
Yeah. I thought you were talking yes, he's great. The grandma is so interesting to me because, she's you kind of think of her as, like, in most families, I think most people would agree that, like, maybe your grandpa may be, a flawed person, and your grandma kinda keeps the family together and is kinda like the peacekeeper or something like that, the woman kinda keeping it, which is very in line with kind of like, traditional roles, whatever. And so I think like it was kind of seeming like she was that peacekeeper of the family and kind of like, while the grandpa's kind of being a dick and like not talking to anyone, like the grandma's out cooking for everyone and trying to get to know, being nice to the new wife and everything. But then they kind of go in a room together like later in the movie, and she like makes like weird comments to her, like it's probably too late for you to have kids, or like things like that. Like you probably shouldn't because your current son is going to be confused if you do that and things like that. And like being very, which is very real, I think. Like that's like that's just like um and it's because of a lot of, just tension with so many different things that every character is really so interesting in this movie, and also her feelings about this fat character comes in the movie that I mean, you'll understand
Oh,
once
yeah.
you watch the movie. I can't really give that
Oh, yeah.
away because of the thing, but
Ooh,
and just a really beautiful ending, and I really like how he shoots the film, and it's
very
just
very Ozu, eh? Very
it's
Ozu.
not as Ozu as I thought, but like yeah,
Mm.
because of the he didn't do a lot of like like cameras on the floor, kind of, which was just like the Ozu thing. So I was kind of going into it like expecting it to just be that, but
I
it's
think of
definitely
it more
like
as, like, almost no camera movement. Like,
yeah.
you think about the only thing I can remember camera movement-wise is when the kids are outside and they see the trees across the street, and you could s it kinda moves there.
When
I lo
when the butterfly comes in and lands
yeah,
on the picture is yeah,
I
that's
lo I love the feel of the night when and it's, like, settled down and the kid kinda leaves the house and or, like, the
yeah,
use of music, like, the grandparents are super into, like, vinyl and
right.
all that stuff. It feels so lived in, and the food all looks fantastic. You just wanna eat the
Yeah,
food
it was like
constantly.
fried corn. I'd never heard of
You're
that.
very
I
hungry.
was
You're
like,
very hungry
"Damn,
watching this.
I don't even like corn that much, but I'd fry some corn. That looks really good."
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, just really incredible. Just so
Does this make you
incredible.
wanna watch more Koreeda?
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah,
Like,
he's
yeah,
great.
it's
He's
insane.
he's great. He's obviously one of the greatest of this generation right now.
Yeah.
Okay, recommending?
Okay, I'm recommending you The Happiness of the Kamakuri I need to look The Happiness of the Katakuris, by
What's
Takashi Miike. It's a super weird, super weird movie, with kinda like bizarre
Whoa.
imagery, kinda like you could watch this a little, little baked, you'll have a great my friend showed me this, who was just kinda like he's Japanese, and so he likes to find weird, like, Japanese movies, and so he showed me this one, um, and it's really fun, um, yeah. It's just a kinda wacky movie that I think you'll like because it's kind of so bizarre, kinda like, I could see
Yeah,
you liking the weirdness, you know?
yeah, yeah. Cool. Well, because you recommended me Green Snake, I'm recommending you Snake Eyes.
Oh, shit. I was kinda
Be-
thinking, like, that you would after talking about it.
So because it's like I can't believe you haven't seen this, and this is like one of my favorite De Palmas, and this is kind of easy to just recommend you a De Palma you haven't seen, and just like, yeah, bro, fucking watch
Yeah.
this masterpiece, please.
That's
It's so insane.
that's good,
I won't say
actually.
anything
Yeah.
more, but I want you to
Right.
watch it.
Yeah.
I think you should check it off the box.
It's very exciting. Yes, that I mean, it looks incredible. Gary Sinise, Nicolas Cage, come on, and Brian De Palma.
Yeah,
Okay,
of course.
so I guess we'll wrap it up there. Next week we're talking up. Next week would be episode 26. I don't know if we're doing a movie release. I think we're gonna do something else. We'll come up with something cool. But yeah. All right. See you then.